wondered if the indictment today of a hedge fund billionaire, for the first time I think in decades.
Who was it? I didn't see it.
Raj, somebody had a Sri Lankan name, I forget the
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Galleon Fund.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, for
he's out on
straight robbery. Yeah.
$100 million bail,
Yeah.
but eventually he may go to prison for 25 years. He's 59 years old, so. But I don't know if that represents.
Yeah, I understand. Well, you know, I mean, he's not being. I mean, that's a case that's been going on for a while, and he's not being indicted for things like the lying and the cheating and the dishonesty that created the financial and economic crisis. He's being tried for things that harmed other businesses, and they don't like it, you know. So they'll go after people who harm their interests. You know, I didn't read the report, but if it happened, yeah, that's the.
Even in the enforcement, it's around business.
It's enforcement, but nothing very. I mean, the serious enforcement ought to be the kind of things that Borofsky's talking about, the special inspector for the bailout. I mean, there was, to repeat what he said, it's important, there was a bargain. The bargain is the culprits who created the disaster will be bailed out by the taxpayer, and the people who were harmed by them will get at least, you know, something. You know, maybe they'll be able to stay in their homes instead of being thrown out. Well, as he pointed out, half that bargain was kept. The other half was disregarded. It tells us something about how democracy functions. The loud voices, the rich, loud voices, yeah, they get their way. Adam Smith's Masters of Mankind. The rest of the population are, you know, it's the Moiré doctrine again. We can disregard them, so they'll get thrown out of their homes. All right, that's a major crime, as is the fact that there is that say credit rating agencies are now when they give a credit rating to some company, they count in the likelihood, in fact, near certainty, that if they go bust, the taxpayer will bail them out. That makes them a lot more rich and powerful than they were. All right, those are real fundamental forms of corruption. I don't know if you call it corruption. The same is true of, say, tax policy. I mean, if you take a look at tax policy, it's pretty amazing. So take, say, the Bush tax cuts, which are a tremendous burden on the economy. I mean, if it wasn't for the effect of those tax cuts, we'd have nothing like the crisis that there is now. Well, how were the tax cuts designed? Take a look at it. Those of you who are old enough may remember, the tax cuts were 2001. They were going to run for 10 years. The first year, everybody got a couple $100s in the mail. So look, I'm giving you a tax cut for everybody. And it was tilted toward the wealthy, but everybody got something. But it was designed so that year after year that would shift. And in the last year, I think it was the top 1% got over half the tax cuts. But by then everyone had forgotten, you know. That's called a sunset policy. You design programs so at first they don't look too bad, and then as they begin to take effect, they go to what the masters want. All for ourselves and nothing for anyone else, what Adam Smith called the vile maxim of the Masters of Mankind. That's the way policy is designed. You go to the congressional debate now, so take John Boehner yesterday. Everything's on the table except the Bush tax cuts, okay? We've got to make sure that the rich get even richer and more powerful. Now there's a way of talking about this, and if you read his speech, it's typical. He said, we have to do this because of jobs. You think for a moment, it has nothing to do with jobs. You want jobs, that's not what you do. But we have to remember that there's been an interesting change in the English language. There's a certain word which you're not allowed to pronounce. It's an obscene word. Since there are children in the audience, I'll spell it instead of pronouncing it. Profits. You're not allowed to use that word. That word is now pronounced jobs. Okay, so when when you read about all right, these are, and here the media just go along and commentary just goes along and so on. Those are real serious problems. Or take, say, the debate over Medicare. It's the Ryan proposal, which is supposed to be serious and courageous. We're supposed to think about it. It's designed on the sunset policy. Take a look at it. It's designed to destroy Medicare, but not for the current voting population. So people who are 55 or over, which is a big part of the voting population, they're excluded. Okay, so their Medicare will stay. What's going to be killed is years down the road. And that's not a small effect. Congressional Budget Office estimates a $34 trillion cost to seniors over the life of the program. $34 trillion. All right, that's what's being cut for elderly people, but not now, because we want them to vote for it now, so they're exempt. Sunset policy again. Medicaid is being devastated. And what is being omitted is the source of the problem. Medicare is not a problem. Medicare is pretty efficient, has quite low administrative costs, it works pretty well. It's very expensive, but the reason is it works through the privatized system. That's where the costs are, the ridiculous costs, you know, profits, advertising, bureaucracy, all kind of things. That's why it's twice as high as anywhere else. Well, that's not being touched. Okay, so all of these debates are framed in a way which kind of guarantee that the rich and powerful will get more rich and more powerful, and the rest will suffer. All right, those are real problems, but they can be dealt with. You know, it doesn't have to be like that.
Thank you.